Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
From sunny Venice.
So it's absolutely tipping it down. Well, it has been, certainly today. We knew the weather was going to change. Had a little bit of rain yesterday, didn't we? And it's sort of threatening thunderstorms and that. But we've been quite lucky. But Julie wanted to film a video on a bridge by the canals.
Like you do.
So, and there's a nice church under there. So I'm actually just there. Just up
Just
there. But we've been watching local life this morning because we got sheltered, just had a coffee in a little place. Probably the cheapest coffee we've had, sort of reasonable prices.
Yeah.
And but just watching the world go by, and the rubbish man comes along on his little barge.
Caused a traffic jam.
Caused a traffic jam, and how it's amazing how they do these things. And you, as we mentioned the other day, you don't think about how they have to live. Everything has to come by boat because just opposite them, partly causing the traffic jam, another boat draws up to what we presume is the back of a hotel, and they're loading in and out tables and chairs and all this sort of stuff, like for some function. And we saw other people, with building materials and bits of scaffolding or something coming up and down the river.
And all the little boats are sheltering under the bridges, like the one we're standing on. So underneath us, there's
probably a herd of gondoliers or whatever the particular word is. Not a day to be out in a gondola. Oh no. But we just had to buy 2 emergency umbrellas, and I'm sure we got royally ripped off. But there you go. But needs must and all that. But right, so this is our final morning because we dumped all that stuff and we're heading off to the airport a bit later. We were trying to get to the Basilica in St Mark's Square, but I'm not sure we're going to do that now because of the weather. But we'll just have a wander around and soak it up a little bit, literally. So obviously, I'm going to say to Julie, your impressions, because as we mentioned the other day, this is a place Julie's always wanted to come to. She managed to get here after so many years. So has it been worth it? Have you enjoyed yourself?
I've loved it. It's magical, even in the rain.
Yeah.
It's a magical place. A friend of mine, Sean, told me while we were here, which I didn't know, that the nickname the Italians use for Venice is La Serenissima. And it's been always called that apparently because it's known as a community who avoid conflict if they can. They try and isolate themselves from times of trouble. But also when you're here, when you're off the beaten track a little bit, which is what we've done a lot.
Even here, actually.
It's a very, very peaceful, serene city, which is extraordinary.
Unless
given
you can
how
hear
many visitors there are.
if we shut up. Can't really hear anything, the odd voice, and that's it, whereas you go to the hot touristy spots and it is absolutely rammed to the rafters with people.
We've also been impressed that the Venetians obviously realise that they have to look after this city now. So
it's a fragile place.
It's really fragile. The buildings, particularly when we were on the water the other day, you really notice how fragile the buildings are. But they've introduced a few rules now, haven't they? Which some of us are aware of, like no luggage with the wheels on it trundling over the bridges, which you completely understand. No selfie sticks, and we were actually told off the other day for sitting on a step.
Well, I think we mentioned it in the video.
We realise now that there is actually official policy governing.
No sitting around, especially eating, dropping litter, feeding the birds,
dressing appropriately.
Yeah.
So it's all about being respectful as a tourist. Given the volume of people that pass through this city, we've seen no litter. I mean, really tiny amount of litter, which is extraordinary.
And they're out, as I say, on the boats, cleaning it all up today, from the city, and everyone bringing their own rubbish out as well. So, I mean, this is possibly the busiest city that I've been to in terms of just the sheer amount of people, and this is in late September. I know other cities struggle with it, like Barcelona and Amsterdam being too, and they brought in their own rules to try and combat it. Yes, we're tourists and we're here, so we're part of it, and we are conscious that we're contributing to everything.
And I like to think that we're respectful tourists.
Yes.
So we use the public transport when we can, we walk when we can. So we wouldn't dream of leaving litter anywhere. We try and use local businesses when we go and eat. So it's just about being respectful where you're travelling.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier on between ourselves, and we were saying that whole thing about places becoming popular. And I heard a song by the Eagles on the radio the other day, "The Last Resort," which is on Hotel California, a song that I've always liked, and it's all about the colonisation by the white man of America, especially California, and the impact that had. And there's a great line in it, sort of "Call something paradise, kiss it goodbye," and that is so true because the age of sort of modern tourism has come along and swamped all of these cities. Yes, it's great in some ways because it brings lots of money in, but it has an adverse effect in other ways. And strangely, here we are on the day that a major travel company, the one that probably introduced mass tourism, Thomas Cook, has gone under. And funnily enough, we came in earlier on over the bridge, and there's the Thomas Cook cruise ship. It's moored there, isn't there?
Stuck. Mind you, there are worse places to get stuck.
Yes. So anyway, so yes, it's been good. I mean, I don't mind the weather. It doesn't matter. I think it's actually stopping, pretty much stopping. You just got to get on with it, haven't you? It's nice to have nice sunny skies, and we're not going to lie to you and say that it's been wall-to-wall sunshine, because it hasn't. But it's been good, and sometimes it's good to have little different things happen, because it adds a little extra memory to say. Remember that day when we got to shelter and
just to do this.
So there you go. Any last thoughts you want to make before I wind this up?
Be one of those tourists. If you haven't been, it's magical. Just come and see it and respect it.
They've got a hashtag here which they've done, and it's in English, and it says "Enjoy, respect Venezia."
Yeah,
and I think you should do that for any country or any city that you go to, even if it's where you live. So
Indeed.
anyway, ciao from Venezia.
Ciao.
Bye.